Recording started and say hello to everyone. Hello, this is Dr. Jeff, and welcome to the Thursday night call, the Thursday night overview. Tonight, we're going to do something really special for those of you that were at Dallas. If you were at Dallas, go ahead and put a one in the chat box. I want to see who my Dallas people were. But we are going to talk about the new product, P84, and actually looking through the people that are on the call. We do have some special guests. We have some Love Biome people that are hopping on the call. And I may unmute the mic of one of them. I've been having some conversations this week with a couple of the Love Biome people, and one of their presenters said that he would be willing to hop on the call. So we will get him on the call a little bit later on and get his insight on Love Biome and what he's thinking about the Love Biome LifeVantage merger. So as I said, I'm Dr. Jeff. I'm going to start tonight. We're going to start off talking about the stress epidemic, the silent epidemic, and how reducing stress in our lives is the root cause of so many diseases and how important that is in our overall life. Many of you know, many of you have been with me. If this is your first call, first Zoom with me, go ahead and throw a two in the chat box. I want to see who my new people are. But I do these every Thursday night. I'm doing the next 3 weeks in a row. They're going to be exciting. So next week, I'm going to do a panel discussion with some of the Love Biome people. We're going to dive deep into the P84 product. And then the following week, I'm going to bring my good friend, someone I love doing Zoom meetings with, Dr. Brett Brimhall, and he and I are going to talk about our our favorite LifeVantage products and how we think the Love Biome P84 is going to fit into the picture with some of our favorite products. So make sure you're here at 8:30 Eastern Time. The next, counting this, the next 3 weeks. So we got some exciting time. So as I said, this is me. If I can get my slides to work. There we go. This is me, Dr. Jeff Picciarello. I was able to take a picture on one of the white couches in Dallas. I'm hoping that by global convention, which gives me a year, I'm going to move up and have one of those seats. That's my goal. That's what I'm working for. Most of you have seen the picture on the right side. That's me after my 104-pound weight loss on the LifeVantage mind body system. These are the other people that sit on my scientific advisory board. If you were lucky enough, a lot of us were at the Dallas meeting. We did hold a meeting on Thursday night introducing all the new members, including myself. So let's go ahead and get started about why we're here tonight. We have a lot of participants from both groups on. I guess we're all one group. We're all one big LifeVantage family now. But I want to talk about stress as the silent epidemic. The world is more stressed now than it has ever been, and we're getting more and more burned out. And most of you guys know, if you know that I am the numbers guy, that I love my percentages, go ahead and put a three in the chat box. You know, this week, if you've been following me on Facebook, it's all been about numbers, and you're going to hear about each one of those numbers again tonight. So let's be super transparent. I'm here tonight because I have a motive. My motive is to flip the paradigm of the idea of what is the root cause of all the major health concerns that we have in the world today. And it's simple that with one, two, maybe three products, combinations of a couple, we can change that paradigm. And I think that's important. For those of you that are true and tried LifeVantage people, you guys know that this all started a little over 20 years ago. But let's go back to the topic of stress. Who here is stressed? If you are stressed in any possible way, and this should be every person on the call. If you're stressed in any possible way, go ahead and put the number 4 in the chat box. Tell me what your stress is, what your main stress is. We're going to talk about a bunch of stresses tonight. We're going to talk about financial and career stress. We're going to talk about what I think is a huge stress, the social media global event stress. We're all linked to this thing. We are all linked to our cell phones. Who has had their cell phone in their pocket thought they felt a vibration, and when they picked it up, there was nothing there. There was no new messages. It was a complete phantom vibration. I know I'm guilty of that all the time. We have the health and diet stress. Who has a health concern that they're working on, or maybe a weight loss concern, and then technology. You know, since the start of since you know if you know me, I like to go back that 50 years, 1975. 1975, there's the family sitting around in the living room. They probably had a wall somewhere in that house that was wood paneling. They're going over a book. Family sitting there nice as a four-person family. 2025, yeah, dad might be at the office. That looks later at night. It's getting dark, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Dad's at the office still working on the computer, trying to make ends meet for his family. Let's talk about nutrition. Let's go back to that 1975. 1975, mostly home cooked meals, almost no ultra high processed foods, almost none. We were starting to get a little bit. I can remember um, even as a teenage child. 1975, I would have been 13 years old. That tells you guys how old I am. I would have been 13 in 1975. If you were not even born in 1975, put a 5 in the chat box. I know we have some of those people out there. That way I can call out the young people, not necessarily call out the older people. But 1975, I was 13. We had processed breakfast cereal. I was still eating things like Frosted Flakes, maybe even things like Apple Jack. So we were getting the ultra high processed cereals. But for the most part, think about it. We're getting meat that was raised close to our home, vegetables that were grown close to our home. We didn't have oranges in the winter up north. We got them shipped in sometimes in the summer, but we didn't have them in the winter. We were depending on the fruit that were grown. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania, so we're getting a lot of apples in the summer. We're getting fresh corn in the summer. We had fresh eggs we had a farm, Johnson's farm. They had chicken farm. They had fresh eggs that we could go get. We had dairy. My good friend Marilyn Wilson's Dairy Farm. We would go get our milk. So we still had that home environment. I was lucky this summer. I was able to spend 4 days on an Amish farm in Goshen, Indiana, with my good friends Karen and Norman, who I got to see at the Market Connect in Dallas. They're part of our LifeVantage team, and they still live this life. Although when they go to the grocery store, they're still getting the ultra high processed foods. But today we have ultra high processed foods. 67%. There's one of those numbers. 67% of the American diet is ultra high processed foods. Ultra high processed foods linked to oxidative stress. Oxidative stress links to hormone disruption, links to obesity, which links to inflammation. That's why we have this problem. That leads to the obesity rate. The obesity rate in the United States overall 42%. We have states pushing 50%. My thought is West Virginia was the closest at the beginning of the year when the statistics were announced. They were at 49.8. I think they probably have jumped over to that 50% mark. So they're going to be the first state that half the people are considered obese. So a huge problem here in the United States. Technology stress. Now think about, as I held it up before, this thing. First cell phone, 1973 for Motorola. They were mainstream by 1983. If you're on this call, and I'm guessing there's not going to be a number. If you're on this call and you do not own a cell phone, put a 5 in the chat box. I doubt if there's anybody that does that. Now we have the constant notifications. They're talking about phantom vibrations. We have a dependence on the device over real human connections. It's interesting. My wife and I were out at a dinner, and we noticed that the table next to us was a group of teens, early 20s, and none of them were talking to each other. Everyone was on their phone talking to somebody else. Nobody was talking across the table to each other. It was kind of a surrealistic event seeing that. Social media stress. We had the rise of Facebook in 2004, Instagram in 2010, TikTok in 2016. Facebook and LifeVantage started right around the same time. Remember, LifeVantage was 2005, so we had Facebook and LifeVantage starting right around the same time. just over 20 years ago. Now there's the pressure to post and to fit in. I post every day. So if you follow me, you know you're going to get those posts and you're going to be looking to see, did Dr. Jeff post yet today? Kids and teens have the cyberbullying and body image issues and FOMO, the fear of missing out. I think we all have FOMO. I think we all have. I know there was people that wanted to be in Dallas and missed it, and they had that fear that they were going to miss something. So that definitely happens. Work and financial stress. Two of my statistics this week. I posted 57 and 76 this week. 57% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. What does that mean? It means that if you lose your job, or maybe it's a two-family income, maybe mom and dad are both out in the workplace and one of them loses their job, that means they are 90 days from bankruptcy. They could be completely bankrupt, lose their house, lose their cars, lose everything in 90 days from one person in the family losing their job. The other one is 76%. That is the amount of American families that feel that they are not spending enough time as a family. They're not getting to go away on family vacations. They're not getting to sit down at the same table at night and eat dinner together. So that is another big issue here in America. Um, Back in 1975, one family income. Usually dad went out to work, mom stayed at home and raised the family. Mom could cook meals. I go to the grocery store and sometimes I'll look at the carts, the people in front of me and the people behind me, and I see all the ultra high processed foods, carts just stacked with cereal and frozen pizzas and other frozen foods and bread that is not baked in a local bakery that's shipped in, that's processed. And I don't see a lot of meat, but if you think about it, if mom's working outside the home, is she going to get home at 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock and put a roast in the oven with vegetables, make that roast? Probably not. She's going to throw a couple frozen pizzas in the oven. It's convenience. A bag of grapes more expensive than a bag of potato chips. That's where these problems arise, and that's why we're in the health situation that we're in today. Global events, we see it 24/7. Something happens and we know it immediately. We know it's on, special report flashes up and we're all tuned in to see it. We have pandemics, we have wars, we have inflammations, we have a huge political divide. I just saw a thing talking about immigrants and whatever your stand is on immigration and people coming into the States, but it showed clips back to Barack Obama and to Bill Clinton talking about our immigration problem and how we had to control our borders. But now it's all a Republican issue. It's not, the Democrats never talked about it. But these things come back and it just divides the country. And I think politics pushes to divide our country. Here's more numbers for everyone to look at. 33% of Americans feel extreme stress. 77% say that the stress is impacting their physical health. Enough that 75 to 90% of all doctor's visits are stress-related problems. 43% of Americans say they have adverse health effects from their stress. 31% say that stress is their biggest problem. And 83% of workers feel that they suffer from work-related stress. If you have work-related stress, if you're not your own boss yet, if LifeVantage isn't everything for you, you're still going out, working that 9 to 5, working 40 hours, spending time, putting in time to get money, go ahead and put a 6 in the chat box. Tell me that you're still doing that. You're striving maybe to make LifeVantage, or if you were convert over your old Love Biome business and now you're part of our LifeVantage family. You maybe were working that as your part-time business, but now you're trying to get it full-time. More numbers. 51% feel they express. This is how the Mental Health Foundation is looking at stress in America. 51% experience depression, 61% anxiety, 37% say they feel lonely. 32% feel that they have suicidal thoughts or thoughts of self-harm. That is an issue. That is a huge issue. And it's something that we have to change. So if we look at stress, it's not just a feeling, it's becoming a public health emergency. And as stress is killing our energy, it's destroying our time, it's destroying our mental health, our physical health. We're aging faster. That is a huge problem. And so I want to talk about this silent stress epidemic and how it's now becoming a chronic problem. And when stress becomes chronic, it affects us as a cellular level. So we talk about oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is everything that bombards our bodies. It is the chemicals in our ultra high processed foods. It's the air pollution. It is micronized plastic. I had a young lady approach me today or yesterday at a business network event, and her big thing is micronized plastic. She has a spa, and part of her spa is what she calls a refillery, and she gets soaps and face care products and home care products and home like dishwashing liquid and floor soap and things like that. But it comes in these big glass containers, and you can bring your own glass containers in and get refills as you need them to get rid of the micronized plastic, because micronized plastic is her big thing. But those are all things that are going to lead to oxidative stress, and we know that oxidative stress is the root cause. And so if you're taking notes, write down root cause. So it's the root cause of over 200 diseases. If you go on PubMed, it's 220 diseases. Diseases like Alzheimer's, diseases like Parkinson's, obesity, cardiovascular disease, some cancers are all the root cause is one thing: oxidative stress. If you can lower oxidative stress, you can lower your risk to these diseases. So how big is it? If we go if I hope you're all familiar with PubMed, go to pubmed.gov, put it in your search engine. This screen will pop up. There's a little search bar, and type in oxidative stress. If you type in oxidative stress, there are 375,000 articles. There's the second red circle. 375,000 articles looking at oxidative stress and disease. So if you take that same search bar, say you're interested in, we have a lady, um, we work with a charity called Isaiah 117 House. Great charity. If you want to hear more about that, message me on Facebook. I'll tell you all about it. Very, very near and dear to my heart. But was at one of their board meetings a couple nights ago, and she just lost her thyroid to thyroid cancer. Obviously, I talked to her about LifeVantage and about Protandim. But if you want to know about oxidative stress and thyroid cancer, just put a comma and put thyroid cancer, hit the search engine. Everything that's ever been published from a physician, it will come up on that bar. So you can learn about oxidative stress and whatever disease you want to talk about. So let's just look a little bit at what this oxidative stress looks like. It affects our brain: Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, ADHD, things that we're seeing in our kids, autism, migraine headaches. It affects our eyes, our heart attacks, stroke, high blood pressure, atherosclerosis. Big link between oxidative stress and cholesterol. So if you can control your oxidative stress, you have a lower risk of getting cholesterol plaques in your arteries. Affects our kidneys, our skin, our joints, arthritis, and oxidative stress. So these are all things that can be controlled. Look at long COVID, oxidative stress, and what's called a cytokine storm, all related in these people that have long-term COVID. So if we can control the oxidative stress, we can control a lot of these diseases. So I've heard Lisa Barnes say this, and I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to steal it from her. Never heard something good that I didn't want to steal. If we have healthy cells, we have healthy tissues. We have healthy tissues, we have healthy organs. If we have healthy organs, we have healthy human beings. So it all starts at that cellular level. Now we can talk about self-care. Who has a self-care routine? If you have a self-care routine, something that you like to do for yourself that you think is healthy, you think it relaxes you. Some of us like massages. I know I like a good massage. Problem with a massage with me is I work long. I'm usually up at 5 in front of these 4 computer screens that I have in my office doing research, working on a couple books. I'll announce those sometime in the near future. But I like massages, but the problem is if I do a massage, I fall asleep. So I guess that's a good thing. I'm getting rest and I'm getting the massage. It's all good. But if you have a self-care routine, maybe it's cold plunge, maybe it's sauna, massage, maybe it's a manicure, pedicure for those ladies out there. But we all have that self-care. But this is bigger than that. This is so much bigger than that. This is cell care. And that's going to help not just that few moments that you feel good after your self-care routine. This is going to help the rest of your life. So what we're asking today is you to flip your switch on your healthcare. It's not so much about self-care. Now we want to talk about cell care. So if you're new to LifeVantage, if I think we're up to 9, if you this is the first time, I am the first time. Dr. Jeff is giving you the first time view of LifeVantage. Put a 9 in the chat box. I'm sure there's some new. I got some direct messages on Facebook today saying, hey, I'm inviting some new people out onto the call tonight. So I hope those people are here. But with LifeVantage, it's a different story. And the reason that it's a different story is this was founded 2005, so 20 years ago. And it wasn't founded under the guise of make money in the wellness space. It absolutely was not. It all started, it goes back to 1997. Once again, throwing dates, going to throw numbers. 1997 was the start of one of the biggest medical studies ever, something called the Human Genome Project. It maps out the entire genetic system for humans. Took 8 years to complete. Completed in 2005. LifeVantage started in 2005. I think there's a relationship. But back then, we had one product, and it's generated $200 million. The company erupted overnight when they released this product called Protandim Nrf2, probably the single greatest cell care discovery of all times. And since it was released, 2 billion, this is with a B, $2 billion in sales. And here's where it started. It started on ABC News primetime special investigative report. John Quiones, who still works with ABC News, set out to prove that Protandim Nrf2 was snake oil. He heard all the fuss. He heard that all the people were buying it. He heard that this guy, Dr. Joe McCord, who's in Colorado, put his entire life at looking at the molecule superoxide dismutase, the master antioxidant in our body. And they were touting that this product can lower oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days and 70% in 90 days. So what happened? It piqued the interest of universities and medical centers all over the world. Harvard, Texas A&M, Duke, they all started doing investigations on Protandim, not just ingredients in Protandim. Let's talk about that in a second, but looking at Protandim itself. 30 published studies. I think we're actually up to 32 now, talking about Protandim oxidative stress. Once again, go to PubMed, put the 2 with a comma, Protandim, comma, oxidative stress, and you'll see the articles that actually use Protandim in the studies. Unheard of in the health and wellness space, unheard of in the network marketing space. What most people do is they use white papers. So they'll look at, say they're looking at they're looking at Protandim Nrf2. Well, they're not going to investigate that. They're going to take one of the ingredients like ashwagandha, and they're going to investigate the studies that have been done on ashwagandha, and they're going to say, well, ashwagandha is in our product, and here's a study on ashwagandha, so it's linked to anti-aging. They don't study the whole thing. I'm happy to be on the scientific advisory board. I'm happy to work with Lisa Barnes because we investigate. Right now, we're doing a study, what happens when we put P84 and Protandim together, what extra pathways are activated with that. And that whole activation science, it's called nutrigenomics. So break down the word into the 2 parts. It's one of the things I learned when looking over a study. Break it down to what makes sense to you. Nutrition, genomics, your genome. How nutrition affects your genetic pathways. That's where Protandim Nrf2 comes in. It looks at how small food products, small little building blocks can affect our genetics. And so this is why when this product came out, it was world changing, it was medicine changing, it was longevity changing. It is the only product out there that has been shown to increase longevity. We could actually legally say that without the FDA coming after us because there's a study that actually proves that. So it started in 2005 with Protandim Nrf2. John Quiones took it. He started feeling better. His labs looked better. His oxidative stress went down. So it became positive. So we were started selling millions of dollars worth of this product, but there was a problem. The problem is it was on the shelves in Walgreens. It was on the shelves in CVS. It was on the shelves in Walmart, but there was one story only, and it's the man on the screen, John Keonis. John Keonis had a story. Now, if we want to hear that story, and everybody in this call, if you haven't done it, go to YouTube, put in ABC Prime Time, and watch the video. I think it's 34 minutes. There's even condensed ones that are like 8 minutes to get the highlights. But watch the whole story, because that is the LifeVantage Protandim NRF2 story. It was the only story in 2005, and that was a problem because we couldn't go to YouTube in 2005. YouTube didn't exist. So unless we saw this on a Tuesday night on ABC News, you didn't know the story. So they were selling a couple $1 million a year, not enough. 2009, the paradigm changed. They went from selling retail to direct sales network marketing. Now there was a story. Teresa has a story. Michelle has a story. Katina has a story. Dr. Jeff has a story. Our new Love Biome people, they're going to have a story. They already have P84 stories. So we all have these stories. And so that's where it becomes important. We have a site. We have My LifeVantage Story. We have that site that you can go to. You can hear people's stories dating back 10 years. And so it's amazing. Now there are multiple stories. So it didn't stop in 2005. Here's the timeline. 2005, Protandim NRF2, the master antioxidant, increasing superoxide dismutase 40% in 30 days, increasing glutathione levels 300% in the same 30 days, decreasing your risk of almost 220 diseases. But it took a while. We had some products between 2005 and 2016, but not big activators. 2016, Protandim NRF1, mitochondria, cellular energy. The mitochondria, the little powerhouses inside of our cells, they make something called ATP. That's what our bodies run off of. That's cellular energy. Our mitochondria goes down, our cellular energy goes down. Our cellular energy goes down, then we start feeling tired, we start feeling depressed. Our cells start dying off early. And so great in things like heart disease. 3 years later, came out with the third one, Protandim NAD. NAD is one of my favorite molecules. I've been using NAD in my practice for probably 10 years or more. NAD helps with brain health, great longevity molecule, very well studied longevity molecule. Another thing to throw in that PubMed search engine, look at what NAD can do. But this allows the body, it's not a supplement. It's not NAD as a supplement. It's NAD as an activator. It causes your body to make its own NAD, something called sirtuins, which is no other product can do. NAD, when you take it as a pill, gets broken down in the stomach. You get very little results. If you take it IV, it works really great, but really expensive. Everybody gets nauseous off of it. This is the game changer. And why I like NAD, I am in the regenerative medicine pathway on that platform. I teach it to other doctors. NAD mobilizes your stem cells outside of your bone marrow to your peripheral circulation. So if you have an area that needs healed, maybe you recently had a heart attack, NAD is going to drive stem cells to your heart. NAD is going to drive stem cells to maybe a muscle injury that you got running a 10K race. It's going to help with that healing on a cellular, on a tissue level. So I love NAD. 3 years later, you can see that about every 3 years, we got a product coming out. 2022, liquid collagen. Not a collagen supplement, a collagen activator. Activates collagen, increases type 1 collagen by 100% in 8 weeks. Where's type 1 collagen? Fine lines and wrinkles. Articular cartilage, the shiny cartilage that's at the end of your bone that causes arthritis when it breaks down, rebuilds that 100% in 8 weeks. There's collagen in your blood vessels. There's collagen in your eyes. So type 1 collagen, it's everywhere. This activates our body to make more collagen. Side note, when I was doing conventional orthopedics, I did conventional orthopedics up until 2009. People would come in and say, you know, doc, I was reading the National Enquirer. More people get their information, especially medical information, from the National Enquirer than they do anywhere else. Sad but true. People trust the checkout lady at the health food store more than they trust their doctor. Sad but true. But I'd have people come in and they tell me, "Oh, I saw it in the National Enquirer. Oh, I heard it at the health food store that if I take this big vial of collagen supplement powder, it's going to make my knee pain get better." And I said, try it. There's no studies on it. Try it and see what you think. So over time, I've investigated it. So typically, when you take those scoops of powder, you put it in some type of a shake, you get about 15 grams of collagen. There's a little over 10 grams in our liquid collagen. But out of that 15, after it goes through digestion, it has to get absorbed, you get about 20%. So you're getting about 2 to 3 grams of actual collagen into your body as a supplement. This is 10 grams that gets absorbed, and your body then makes 100% increase in the production in 8 weeks. Game changer, paradigm shift. And in 2024, probably the reason I'm here on this call tonight, mind body GLP-1, the GLP-1 activator. There's no GLP-1 in it. Once again, little building blocks. Things like lemon flavonoids and things like berberine and matcha and green and yerba mate, all there in the right combination to allow your body to make more GLP-1, to increase your GLP-1 levels 200% in 12 weeks. So you see how this works. It's not a supplement. It allows the body to make products itself. That's why it's a game changer. So let's look at some combinations. These are older slides. You'll notice that there's a new product that I haven't put on these yet. It's coming. So maybe all you want to do, maybe you're starting out slow. All you want to do is control your oxidative stress. You want to lower that oxidative stress 70% in 90 days. Protandim NRF2 is what you need. I'm going to patent this, trademark it. Rachel Picara, that's who I am tonight. If you look at the pictures, I'm Rachel. NRF2 needs to be in our water. We should all be drinking it every day. The government should just put it in the water. We shouldn't have to worry about taking it anymore. I think Michelle's drinking hers right now. So NRF2 needs to be in the water. It is the master to health, increases our longevity. Maybe you have a heart concern. NRF2 and NRF1, increasing that production of ATP. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe you have chronic fatigue syndrome. Maybe you just feel tired at the end of the day. Your hormones are starting to get down because of the ultra high processed food. Great combination, what they call the dual synergizer. So it's NRF1, NRF2. Maybe you want to go a little farther than that. Maybe you want to look at protandim and liquid collagen. Maybe you have a beauty concern. Maybe it's fine lines and wrinkles around your eyes. Maybe it's some wrinkles and sun exposure on your chest from wearing that bikini at the beach. My wife was concerned with that when we first started in LifeVantage, and it actually helped. I wasn't going to start the liquid collagen. I said, when I started LifeVantage, it was July of 2024, a little over a year ago. I was 61 years old. Just turned 63 2 weeks ago. And I wasn't worried about crow's feet. I wasn't worried about wrinkles on my chest. But I started taking it anyways because I wanted to see how I felt. And in 60 days, my knee pain went away. For those of you that don't know, that you're new on the call, I played 4 years of high school football, 4 years of high school football, 4 years of college football, 2 years of NFL football. So 10 years of competitive football. My knees were shot. I was also 320 pounds at the time. I had bad knees, couldn't get around, couldn't go down steps without holding onto the handrail, couldn't go up steps without pulling myself up. In 60 days, before the mind body even came out, before my weight loss journey, my knee pain was gone. So if you have somebody that's talking about knee pain, joint pain, try the liquid collagen. They might get some pretty amazing effects. And then last fall, October 12th, 2024, Mind Body GLP-1 came out. I started it on the day that came out. I've been taking it every day since, as of this morning, down 104 pounds. So it is definitely increases GLP-1 levels. I'm going to be honest. Here's the honesty. I'll lean into the camera and I'll tell a secret. Not everybody had the same results I had. I think we're up to number 10. If you have taken the MindBody GLP-1 product and you were disappointed with your results, maybe you followed everything, you did all the things, you reached out to Dr. Jeff, listened to increasing your protein, increasing your water, doing some exercise, still the weight wasn't coming off. I have the new answer. And I got the new answer from talking to some people that are on this call. There's a couple of gentlemen on this call that I talked to a lot last week in Dallas. I'm going to open the mic in a little bit for one of them. But now I figured it out. And I figured out that the difference is the human gut, our second brain. If our gut is not intact, if our gut is inflamed, then it leads to a lot of things. Everything gets out of balance. Our aging gets out of balance. Our diet gets out of balance. Absorption of medications gets out of balance. Sleep gets out of balance. Lack of energy, skin problems, mood swings, immunity. Almost all of some people will say 90% of our immunity is in our gut. Bloating, gas, not having bowel movements every day. Remember, you're supposed to have a bowel movement for every meal. Every time you bring food in, food should come out. Food in, food out. That's the way it's supposed to work. A lot of us aren't that way. A lot of us aren't regular. So this is our second brain. So this is where I get to announce P84. It makes gut peptides. I took some notes. These are some little notes that I took about what it does. It actually activates. Activates. Have you heard that word before? Activator. NRF2, activator of antioxidants. Liquid collagen, activator of type 1 collagen. MindBody GLP-1 activates GLP-1. This activates 14 different key peptides in the gut. 15 strains of healthy bacteria, the probiotics. 40 billion units of bacteria in your daily P84. Fruits and vegetables from all the colors: beets, cranberries, mango, papaya, blueberries, grapes, broccoli, kale, watercress, all in the PA, all the different colors: purples, reds, blues, yellows, oranges. They're all there. Activate some of our big digestive enzymes: amylase that digests starch, protease that digests protein, cellulase that digests the cellular, like cellulose, like all the fibery stuff that's in our vegetables. Lactase that helps you digest lactose in dairy products. Lipase that helps us digest fat. All in the P84. All these key peptides that are elevated. So this is the missing link. This is the activator that we did not have in LifeVantage, and now we have it. We have it now with our connection when we purchased Love Biome and brought all these great people. I met some great people in Dallas, absolutely great people. Did you know that your gut makes its own peptides, and that your gut, if you stretch out your digestive tract, it's 30 feet long. That's as long as a telephone pole. That's what's inside of you that helps with your nutrition and your digestion and your immunity. All that is coming from that 30 feet of intestine. So I'm going to throw out three words at you: regulate, repair, and restore, because those are the three key words. You got to remember those. I've been trying to put them in my mind. I did my Facebook story earlier today, and it was on a little bit about P84, and I had to remember: regulate, repair, restore. So P84 regulates, it's the peptides that control our digestion. It's regulating the digestion. It's repairing the cellular lining. Here's that missing link. If you did not do well on the MindBody GLP-1, here's why. GLP-1 is manufactured in the lining of the gut in these little cells called L cells. If your L cells are inflamed, they can't make GLP-1. So your L cells cannot make the GLP-1. So now you're taking the MindBody, hoping that the L cells are going to take all these ingredients and make GLP-1, but it's not working. You're not losing weight. Well, your gut's probably inflamed. So my key, I think, if we take P84, Protandim, put out the fire, here's the analogy. Somebody's driving past your house, driving out past your house, and think about them. They're in a big Cadillac convertible, driving past your house. smoking a big cigar, and they throw their cigar out, and it hits your front lawn, and your front lawn starts on fire. Well, if you run out to your front lawn and you say, "Oh, my lawn's on fire," I'm going to throw grass seed on it. Nothing's going to happen. You throw mind body onto your inflamed L cells, nothing's going to happen. You got to take water, put out the fire, fertilize it, and then plant new grass, and it's going to work. So the fire's burning in your gut. You take your Protandim NRF2, puts out the fire. You take your P84, it's the fertilizer. The L cells now are healthy, and now you're going to sprinkle it with the mind body grass seed, and that weight's going to start coming off. And so I think that was the missing link. And that was my aha moment. I'm going to do, if any of you know Coach Brian Fryer, I was in his intensive. I'm going to go into his mastermind, but it's the mind blown emoji. That was my mind blowing thought sitting in the events in Dallas over the past weekend. So let's talk about regulation. Regulation equals the jobs that your gut needs to do. Think about digestion, nutrient absorption, immunity, barrier function, not allowing toxins to get in that you're taking in. So that's the regulation. That's your green and your orange nutrients, your spinach, your broccoli, watercress, oranges. It's going to activate the peptides that we need to do. Repair. Talked about the if your gut's inflamed, these are going to be the reparative part, repairing those L cells. They're going to be your red and your purple nutrients, your pomegranates, rosehip, tomato, red bell pepper, red beets, blueberries, black currants, eggplant. All of these vegetables and fruits are going to be the reparative process. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the restore, restoring that new microbiome. That's going to where the probiotics come in. It's going to be the 15 strains of bacteria. It's going to be that 40 billion units. It's going to be the digestive enzymes that help us with digestion to break down food so things get absorbed and not just passed out. You know that they did a study that most of the multivitamins that are on the market today never get absorbed. You take them in the morning, they're a whole pill. If you're taking a liquid or a chewable, going to get absorbed a little more. If you're swallowing a pill, probably passing it out in your poop at the end of the day. That's the sad part of most vitamins. Most of them, even the better, more expensive ones, most of them are not absorbed. So that's the whole idea. It's a two-product system. It's the PhytoPower 1 and the PhytoPower 2. You take them together. I'm going to see if my good friend, Dr. Henderson, is on this call. I know he was earlier. Let me see if I can find him. If you can unmute yourself, let me, I got to see
Hey
if
there,
he's...
Dr. Jeff. Hey
There
there.
he is. There's my
Hey there,
man.
hey there, LifeVantage
My
family.
brother from another mother, Dr.
Hello, man.
I'm
Y'all
gonna
just
send it over to him. I'm gonna give him about 5 minutes of my time. For those of you that know that I never give up the microphone. I love to talk, but I gotta tell a Dr. Henderson story. So Dr. Henderson's name is James Vincent. Believe it or not, my dad's name was James Vincent Picciarello, but it doesn't stop there. His dad was, so my grandfather was Vincent James Picciarello. My great grandfather was James Vincent Picciarello. My brother is Vincent James Picciarello, and my nephew is James Vincent Picciarello. So it's crazy that every other generation we've alternated names. So I think James is my brother from another mother. I really
so
think he
so
is,
I
and
think
he's
so.
got the 84 hat.
Hey,
So I'm sure I missed stuff. Fill in the blanks, buddy.
oh no, man. I am just so excited. You have I've been following your YouTubes when we found out that this merge was going. I hit YouTube and I just put in Pro Tandem and just started listening, started getting I was like a sponge, soaking it all in. I was with LifeVantage in 2015, believe it or not. I had started taking Pro Tandem and I just didn't get the oxidate. I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. I think back then they only had the investigative report. That's what they were showing. That was their foundation. I just didn't get it. But look at this. It came
You're back.
full circle. And look, I ain't missing it the second time around. You were talking about stress a little earlier. And what's so interesting is people don't realize that 95% of serotonin, that feel-good hormone, is produced in the gut. So if the gut is not balanced, you're going to be stressed out all the time. This product here, you're absolutely right. This is whatever you having fantastic results with the Pro Tandem. Wait until you get the gut balanced. And once you get the gut balance, you're gonna see, yeah, you go right there. You're gonna see the 84 microbiome friendly ingredients. Absolutely. The probiotics. Now listen, these probiotics, these are probiotics you can't go in the store and buy. These are proprietary probiotics. Now you might find Lactobacillus bifidum in the store, but you're not gonna find that specific strain with the LRO5 or so we have a product here, just like the Pro Tandem is the deal breaker. It's
Right.
this P84 is the same thing.
I think these are the two products that everyone in the world should be on. I like throwing numbers in the chat box, and when we're done, I go into the chat box and I look for stuff, or I look for questions. I'll reach out to people on Facebook sometimes. But if you're already taking the P84, if you've either ordered it, you bought it in Dallas, you were lucky and were one of the people that got it sent to them pre-order, or you've been in with Love Biome for a couple of years now and you've been taking it all along, go ahead and put an 11, number 11, two ones, into the chat box. I want to see who those people are. So he already gave away my next slide. There's the combination,
That's it.
people. There it is. Healthy Edge Stack. We've even named it. NRF2 going to help put out the fire in your gut. Going to put out the fire in your body. It's going to decrease that oxidative stress, that cellular stress that is going to cause premature aging of your cells. Remember, as your cells age, they die off. And when they
Yes.
die off, they mutate, and the mutated cells grow back. That's cancer. When the mutated cells grow back, that's heart disease. So if you can put out that fire with NRF2 and then P84 to rebuild your gut, to
Yeah.
rebuild your immune system, to rebuild your serotonin levels, it's the combination that can't be beat. And the company is helping us. The company has some great incentives between now and the end of the year. Extra points. We have the Healthy Edge Stack that's available now for consultants. November 4th, write it down. November 4th is when it's going to be available for customers. It'll be the first time that customers, I think I have 10 people on my list that are waiting to order. I don't know about you, but I'm going to have a great November. The numbers are going to go up. So just think about the possibilities of combining these two things together. We now have two world leaders in activated cell care. We have the Love Biome products coming out, the P84. We already have our Pro Tandem products. So think about what this is going to do. Less pain, more energy, more motivation, glowing skin, weight loss. There's another guy in the call. I won't call him out, but I'm going to invite him. Next week, I'm doing the Dr. Jeff P84 special call. Dr. Henderson's going to be my guest. I got a couple other guests from the Love Biome team that's going to come in. I'm not going to give away all my clues. One of them's on the call tonight. I haven't invited him yet. He knows who he is. He is another brother from another mother. He's a better dresser than I am, believe it or not. He is a fashionista. So he'll be on our call next week. But he told me improved libido. Believe it or not, he said his libido went up when he started talking the product. Improved sleep, stronger immunity, gut health, obvious, less inflammation. I'm a numbers guy. I'm going to flip the switch. 57% of households are living paycheck to paycheck. You heard me. That's a bigger problem, I think, than our health problem, because that means families are suffering. Families are suffering so much that 76% of Americans say that because of work, because of lack of money, they don't have enough free time to spend with their family. They don't get to go on vacations together. They don't get to sit at the same table at night and eat dinner together. That's a problem. And that's where the LifeVantage team can come in. Why can they come in? Because we've all seen it. We've seen it with Rodan and Fields. We've seen it with Modere. We saw it with Beachbody. They're all stopping. They're changing the way that they're paying people. They're going to more affiliate marketing. They're closing altogether. Modere didn't tell anybody. People went in the next morning and the doors were locked. Can't happen. Can't happen with LifeVantage. Can't ever happen, because what do we have? We have a board of directors. We're publicly traded on NASDAQ. So one of the best stocks to buy. So for the Love Biome people, if you haven't bought LifeVantage stocks yet, go out, find your broker tomorrow, go out and buy some. It's been going up and up and up. $2 billion of product sales in 20 years. It is the company to be at. And why is it the company to be at? Because it's helping our health, it's helping our time, and it's helping our money. It's helping families move forward. I like numbers. I like trends. Here they are. Here's the health side of the trends. Obesity rate, I already talked about it. 42% all over the United States. We have some good states. Colorado's a good state. If you live in Colorado, you're probably more healthy. I think we're up to number 12. Put a 12 or just put Colorado into the chat box because that means you're in a state that eats a little more healthy. Obesity rate is down in the low 30s, believe it or not. West Virginia, if you're from West Virginia, call yourself out. 50% obesity rate. But what does it mean? It means semaglutide, the key ingredient, Ozempic, Rybelsus, and Wegovy, $38 billion in 2023, $46 billion in 2024. The number one drug in the world is a weight loss drug, followed by Humira, which is a drug that is used for autoimmune disease, and then third, Eliquis for heart disease, blood thinner. By 2030, nearly half of Americans, 29 out of 50 states, will have an obesity rate of over 50%. That's a global problem. It's a world problem, not just in the United States. I know we have people on our call tonight from our Australia team. It's a world problem. They're maybe 10 years behind us, but it's a world problem. GLP-1 market, $138 billion by 2031. About 50 billion now. So how do you do this? In LifeVantage, we talk about building a team. We talk about going diamond. Going diamond means you have about 25 customers. Start promoting the Healthy Edge stack. You'll get 25 customers. About $1,200 a month. But that's not how this works. This is network marketing. So you help 5 of your diamonds go diamond. Now you're about $3,200 a month. And if you take those 5 and you help 5 of theirs go diamond, you're at 13,000. You're executive level. You're at $13,200 a month. Most of you know this wasn't my first network. I've had 3 that have done well. I started out, believe it or not, with a juice drink, 27 different juices in a bottle, looked like a wine bottle, Monavie, 2008, antioxidant, had an ORAC score of about 8,000. It was okay, not anywhere near like what we have now. But they used to say, repeat by 3s. You come in, you put in 3 people. You have them 3 people, put in 3 new people. Then you're at 9. To have those 9 people put in 3, you're at 27. LifeVantage will pay you down to 9 levels. You do the math, I'll do it for you. You have 7,000 people on your team. Just having each person help put 3 people into the business. That's what network marketing is. Exponential growth, not logarithmic growth. So let's look at this. LifeVantage, when you put someone in and they refer someone, you get paid that month, you get paid the next month. And if you're like Rachel Pekarik, who's our presidential in Team Heart, she has people that have been staying on Protandim for 10 years. They're on their 120th month and they're still ordering every month. That's the nice thing. I'll tell you, when I quit regular medicine, when I got out of the insurance side, Blue Cross and Blue Shield hasn't been sending me a check since I got out of the insurance business. I don't get a check from Blue Cross and Blue Shield saying, oh, your patient, Mr. Jones, he's still using Blue Cross and Blue Shield, so here's a little residual check. Now, it doesn't happen. Doctors doesn't understand. For those of you that want to reach out and talk to doctors, here's the key. To reach out and talk to doctors, don't talk about the product. Don't talk about, how great the products are. Talk about residual income, or what I like to call mailbox money. What's mailbox money? Mailbox money means that on the 15th of the month, you get an email, and on the email, it says that this card just had $1,000 put on it, or 2,000, or 10,000, or 30,000, or 130,000. So the mission, my mission, the mission of Team Heart is to change the world around us with love, health, and entrepreneurship. My goal when I started in this, I wanted to initially just build a team. Then I wanted to start building and changing lives. I started the Dr. Jeff effect, which is the paradigm shift to get people to start looking at and taking care of their own health care, not to depend on their doctors, but to be proactive and take care of their own health care. The best part, you don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to build it from scratch. You don't have to do it alone. You can lock arms. There's no inventory. When I had Monte, I had a garage full of juice. Looked like I had like a wine collection in my garage in boxes. There's no shipping. There's no tech support. Team Heart, $200 million in revenue in the past decade, over $100 million paid out in commissions to our team. We have a lot of 6 and 7 figure earners that still show up every night, show up on Tuesday meetings, on Thursday meetings, are willing to lock arms with people on a weekly basis to help train new consultants to build this business. We built our own online system called Activated Affiliate. We have a 30 days to 1K launch program that will lock arms with you so you make your first $1,000 in the first month. Because if you do that, you're going to stay with us. You're not going to go away. We have an AI assistant that you can ask questions about the products. We've just started to put the P84 products in there. We have social media swipe files. And you would think I have other companies that I have things like this cost me $350 a month. This is $49, not a month, $49 a year to get access to all this. If you're on Team Heart, if you're not on Team Heart, $97 for 1 year, and you get all of our stuff. So think about, I threw some numbers out there, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. These are what those numbers look like. If you're a consultant, um, you might only be making, that's the first level, might be making an extra 25 bucks a month, put the tank of gas in your car. Move up through the senior consultant levels, that's where you're getting closer to $1,000 a month. Go up through those managing consultant levels, now you're at $2,000, $3,000, $6,000 a month. Hit executive, EC1. Once you hit EC1, now the company takes some of their profit. They take a percentage of their profit and they start dividing it out among their executives. You can see those numbers jump 6,000 a month to 14,000 a month. Presidential, you reach the top, you get one of those white couches. Who wants to come? I think we're at 13. 13 is my birthday. I don't think it's an unlucky number, October 13th. If you want to sit with me in a white couch at Global, Salt Lake City in 1 year, October 2026, put the number 13 in the chat box. Those are the people I want to lock arms with. I think Dr. James is going to be on a white couch next to me. Those are 130,000 average. We have people making $200,000 a month as presidentials. If I can do it, you can do it. Here's some just busy moms and dads: Nicole, Amber, Lachelle. Lachelle's a rock star. She's on my activated rock star team for our intensive that we did last month with Coach Fryer. Eric and Kristen building a great team. Here's some fitness and wellness professionals, influencers. Jesse and Erica, both bodybuilders, have a great little baby, Shiloh, that I think my wife's going to get to take care of while they're at a wedding down in Florida in a couple weeks. Brian is over in our European market. Maybe you're a medical professional like me. Gail is a retired nurse anesthesiologist over in New Zealand, now working the business full time. Here's some people that left other network companies to join us. Granier, I had a call with Granier this afternoon. She's over in Australia. Josie built Australia. And when we were in the Philippines, we're not in the Philippines anymore, but helped build it. So if all of these people can do it, you guys can do it. I'm willing to lock arms with each and every one of you. All you have to do is reach out and let me know that you need help. I'm more than happy to do it. I love talking if you haven't figured that out yet. But over the next 10 years, we want to help 1 million people achieve better cell care, not just self-care, cell care. We want to help 1,000 families become debt-free, moving forward with health, with more time, with more money. I want to lock arms with you. I want to bring 10 people on my team. So if you're on my team, I want to bring 10 people on my team to $100,000 a year. I want to get you out from under that exchanging hours for time. That's not the way to do it anymore. Now you want to build your own business and build a legacy for your family. So you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. You have to put your nose to the grindstone. You have to build it like a business, not build it like a hobby. Maybe all you want to do is do a hobby. You want to do a gig. You want that extra $500 a month that you can pay your electric bill or pay your gas bill or save it for vacation. But maybe you want more than that. Maybe you want to build that legacy. You just have to be willing to do it. Success doesn't take more time, just takes fewer bad habits. Stop scrolling, stop going and watching funny videos on TikTok, stop watching Netflix. There's plenty of time in the day that you can put it to good work. So if this is your first call, welcome to Team Heart. Welcome to LifeVantage. We all love you. We're willing to lock arms. I know the Love Biome people is willing to lock arms with anyone who wants to. They've been very receptive to my request. Next week, we're going to have Dr. Jeff with a Love Biome panel. You're going to get to put your questions in the chat box. I'm going to be able to ask questions, get some of them to answer it. We're going to talk about the science. I'm going to have them help put the slide panel together. Thank you, Dr. James. It is my pleasure, absolutely my pleasure to call you a brother, to call you a friend. Thank you for being on the call with me tonight. We're going to have him on our call again next week. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for being on. Thank you for sticking with me. And this call is officially a wrap. Have a great week. Love you all. God bless and bye-bye.